Welcome to Arising Matters. Guys, I came across this video where Adetun Onajobi, popularly called Tinubu'S daughter, granted an interview at Channels Television. Guys, she said a lot of things. She even mentioned Wike in the interview. Please sit back and enjoy the video. Play the clips.
And to talk about any bad governance, what do Nigerians want? I have in the studio an activist and citizen who has been very, very vocal in the course of this protest, just Adetun Onajobi. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Also joining us is a lawyer and human rights activist, Festus Ogun. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, so let's dive head straight in. Adetun, you have been very, very vocal, from the 2023 elections, up until even yesterday, and we've seen a couple of videos on social media where you were protesting with other protesters and also having a sort of debacle with the military because of what happened close to the toll gate and everything. What do you make of the ongoing protest before we talk about how the president is addressing it?
Thank you very much for that question. So the only thing I can make out of this ongoing protest is this is exactly where the government has pushed us to. This is exactly what we need to do now. If we have to keep quiet for the government to keep doing their own thing, by the time we wake up, definitely more things would have been completely messed up. So what is expected of the citizens of Nigeria to do is exactly what they're doing. Apart from the fact that it's their fundamental right, they also have to be a check on the government. Government is not seeing a lot of things, and the citizens are the ones bearing the pain and the consequences of their negligence. So people have come out to speak that there's problem in the land, and obviously they've done the right thing. Thumbs up to everybody who came out. They did the best thing to do. So
I also did notice that you are also clamoring for the support of the president, and you are pushing the blame to the people surrounding him. So do you believe that his team are not necessarily efficient and he should change his team?
The next thing that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu should do now, first of all, let me give him that credit, accepting responsibility that he is aware that we are suffering. And not only accepting that responsibility in the past 1 year, His Excellency, sir, you have to accept the responsibility for the past 8 years plus this one, making 9 years, because he openly told us that he brought Buhari. So accept whatever thing or whatever failure Buhari caused this government and accept 1 year, making 9 years. The fact that he has accepted that is fine for me. Now, what was that question again? Sorry.
You categorically stated that the president must not fail.
There's no way he would fail, because we are definitely, this country is on a nosedive, and this is definitely our last chance. But the problem we are having right now is the people that are working with the presidency are definitely not the people that should be working with the presidency. Nigeria is not Lagos. Nigeria is not about so person was loyal to me, I'm trying to compensate this person with some specific positions. We are in a very, very sensitive situation right now. We need technocrats, we need experts, we need people who understand the pain to the bone marrow. We need people who are loyal to making Nigeria great, not people who are investors, people who have invested one thing or the other in Asiwaju's hierarchy to presidency, and then this is the time they feel they should be compensated. No. So the very first problem that Tinubu has to do to ensure or guarantee us that change is for sure and is guaranteed is to dissolve that cabinet.
Okay, so we're going to get back to it and we'll talk about specifics, because I know there are certain ministers that you've called out personally. Mr. Festus, so talk to me. What do you make of the president's speech? Do you think it addresses what the core issue is, which is hunger, most especially, food inflation, and I think all these things are all interconnected as a result of the removal of fuel subsidy?
I think that the statement of the president is completely disappointing. When we started the protest on August 1st, I participated in it actively up to yesterday. I had been clamoring that, look, the president needs to speak to us, that as citizens of this country, we have spoken very loudly. We presented our charters of demand. What we expected the president to do is to speak to us. But it seemed that the president was only interested in talking and not necessarily providing the solutions to the challenges that have been devouring the country. I think that looking at the statement appears to be like a manifesto of a political party. The statement has not addressed the core issues that the protesters have been clamoring for. Looking at it critically, the statement is merely a political statement. In fact, look, the president was even talking about people that were killed. The president never said that those people that were killed were slaughtered by state agents, by security agencies. The president is not talking about how he would cut the cost of governance. The president is not talking about how the number of ministers will be drastically reduced. So why should we have 2 youth ministers in this country? Why should we have 2 labor ministers in this country? And the president is saying, look, the good people of Nigeria should be patient, that things will get better. He's telling the people of Nigeria to endure, that things will get better. While he's telling us to endure, over there in the seat of power, there is no sort of sacrifices that are being made at all. The court of governance is not cut to size in any manner, and is asking us to endure this time. What we are saying is that, looking at the 10 shatters of demand that the protesters have placed on ground, the statement of the president has not addressed even one out of it, and which in my view justifies why the protest should still continue.
So you're advocating that the protest should continue?
The president needs to address the real demands of the protester. It is not just enough to speak. The president said a lot without saying anything. What Nigerians are saying is that you are not just going to give us a manifesto after you've been elected over a year. You cannot continue to tell our people to wait after you've been elected over a year. What our people want is that we want an end to the hardship.
Okay.
And when you come to say, look, these people have been agitating for the past 3 days. Today made it the 4th day. The president came this morning. I was expecting, in good conscience, if the president has made some pronouncement that clearly addresses the issues that are being agitated for on the streets, I would have backed down from the struggle, at least for now.
So what you're basically saying is that there was no real concession, because he did
it was a political statement. It was like a manifesto of a political party.
There were some very strong points that he made, in the area of like debt servicing, where usually we use up to 97% to service debt, and now it's down to 68%. He also made mention of the fact that the people that were benefiting from the fuel subsidy and all of those leakages have now been blocked, which now doubled the revenue they collected, in 2024 as opposed to 2023. He also talked about the students' loans and, the students that can now access money and, education sort of taking the next level with that. There were certain points. But what you're trying to say is that he did not make any real concession. So what would be a real concession to you? What do you expect the president to say in the next few days? What is the real concession for the everyday Nigerian?
The people of Nigeria are saying that we have a high level of inflation in the country. An average Nigerian can barely afford the daily bread. It is not just enough to make statements. It is not just enough to say, look, we have programs, we are sharing money to people.
So in specific terms, what do you want the president to do? Just 2 things.
We want the removal. We want the subsidy to return. Because the problem is not the subsidy. We have to get it clear. The problem is not the subsidy. The problem is the corruption that bedeviled the subsidy arrangement. The subsidy, in my view, is not the problem.
So you want subsidy back?
I want it back.
Okay.
We want the fuel price to return to normal, to where it was before the president came in. These are one out of just the 10 demands that the protesters have made. And out of all the demands, the president in his speech has not successfully addressed one. All we have been seeing is promises upon promises, like a manifesto. It's not just working for me.
All right, Adetun, taking off from what he just talked about, he did mention, I think at some point he said that the government should cut down costs. I want to pick up from what you also said when you said that you don't think the president has a supporting team, ministers. I know that you particularly called out the minister of the FCT, Wike. You did say that he got to that position simply because he delivered his constituency, and that is why he is there. However, you are not exactly a fan of Minister Wike. So are you saying that there are certain ministers that should not be in President Tinubu's cabinet?
Oh, obviously there are certain ministers who shouldn't be there. Let me address the issue of Wike. Wike might be functional, Wike might be working, but for me, I want to make everybody understand that these people are servants serving us, and we are the leaders of tomorrow, and then we are the ones they're doing everything for. So if you want to approach us, let there be some level of humility, let there be some level of connection, let there be some level of respect. Wike, you cannot continue to be arrogant on the people that you are serving. You cannot serve us our rights with a level of arrogance. And for the people who are in the cabinet, for crying out loud, Minister of Youth, for example, one of the problems that I have as a citizen is the fact that there is moral decadence in our society. Our youths are not being engaged. The ones who are educated don't have jobs. They have taken the baton, breaking the chain of poverty into their own hands. They have started to look for every form and avenue to make money. What is the Minister of Youth doing, for example? What has she ever said? What have they brought to the table to solve this problem? Because we cannot be talking about infrastructure, and definitely our children are becoming prostitutes, drug addicts. Our musicians are in their own lane, making their money, doing their own thing, but they are negatively influencing children that should concentrate on their education and breaking the yoke of poverty. So for me, the people in Asiwaju's cabinet are definitely not the kind of people this country needs now. Okonjo-Iweala is abroad making Nigeria proud. Akinwumi is on the international field making Nigeria proud. And then my father is in the country compensating people who have worked with him for the past 20 years, 30 years, and invested in him getting into presidency. We are talking that we need experts. This is a theater. Nigeria needs surgery. We are talking about bringing experts into the theater and let us fix this problem. And you are telling me to go and bring my family member to come and be soothing the pain? No, we don't need people to soothe the pain. We need to tear this country apart, dissect it, find the figures of the problem and address it. Let this country heal. Nigeria is deep rotting and we need to dig it to the root and let it heal. Asiwaju is not the cause of our problem. Asiwaju inherited the problem. Asiwaju also contributed to the problem by bringing Buhari. So everything plus the deep-rooted, rotten one, plus the one he inherited, plus the one he claimed that he could fix by going for the president, everything is on his head. He has to fix it.
All right.